The president and CEO of Global Refuge, Krish O'Mara Vignarajah, joining us now for her perspective. Good to see you again, Krish. All right, I know that you have probably dealt with immigrants that are being deported in the past. So what is different, if anything, about Mr. Garcia's case and those of the other men who have been deported to El Salvador?
Yeah, I think the circumstances of Mr. Garcia's case are quite extreme. He's been here for 14 years. He's never been charged or convicted of a crime. He's married to a U.S. citizen. He's been raising 3 children here in our state. And yet he's being held in an El Salvadorian mega prison notorious for inhumane conditions and credible allegations of human rights. And I think that what is so unnerving here is we have both a federal judge and the Supreme Court who have unanimously said that his deportation was illegal and that the U.S. needs to take action. And as you noted, Denise, his circumstances are not unique in that we are seeing a number of other individuals with no criminal record who were mistakenly deported to the same prison.
Yeah, we heard the Attorney General Pam Bondi earlier say that if Bukele, the president of El Salvador, wanted to send him back, they would facilitate that. Facilitate being the word that the Supreme Court used. That makes it sound like it's up to El Salvador at this point, which is confusing.
It is. And look, I spent 3 years at the State Department. I think what is so unnerving about what's happening is the executive branch is flirting with defying a very clear legal order. The president and presidents before have been in situations where an accidental deportation has happened, and it has been clear that ICE, other agencies have had needed to take a proactive role. And so this very narrow interpretation of what facilitates means is, I think, very clearly in contradiction to what the federal district court and the Supreme Court have signaled.
So how do you see this playing out in the months to come, and what are organizations such as yours doing in response to these activities?
Well, I think first and most vitally, it is important that the U.S. government take real concrete steps. The fact that we're even paying El Salvador to keep these individuals suggests that there is a custodial responsibility that the U.S. has. Second, I think it's important that Congress really does need to act, because what we are seeing is the misuse of a longstanding law, and I think Congress needs to really take back the reins. And then just the final thing is, I think it's important the American public pay attention. Mr. Garcia is not a one-off case. He is a canary in the coal mine. And if these practices are allowed to continue in silence, they won't stop. And so I hope, for his family's sake and for just the checks and balances that are integral to our constitutional system, that we see action.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Krish O'Mara Vignarajah. Appreciate your insight.